All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are diving deep into a classic tale from 19th century Paris. And let me tell you, it's got everything. A massive fortune, dark secrets, and some seriously calculated revenge. And it all kicks off with this one kind of bleak idea.
Right from the get-go, the story just hits you with this dark, cynical vibe. It sets up this world where, the good guys don't always win. In fact, it seems like the villains are pretty much guaranteed to come out on top. That's the mood we're starting with.
And that really sets up the big question at the heart of this whole thing. You've got this huge inheritance up for grabs, and it's like a magnet, pulling in everyone from the most noble heroes to the slimiest villains, all fighting for their piece of the pie.
So, let's talk about the prize. What exactly is this fortune that's got everyone at each other's throats? Well, it all starts when one man dies and leaves behind an almost unbelievable amount of money.
Meet the man who kicks it all off, the late Count de Chalusse. And when I say rich, I don't just mean a little well-off. This guy was so ridiculously wealthy, the story says he didn't even know how much he was worth. That's the kind of money we're talking about here, the kind that builds legacies or completely tears lives apart.
Okay, so let's try to put a number on it. The inheritance is a cool 10 million francs. Now, in the 19th century, that's an astronomical sum. We're talking life-changing, dynasty-building money. So yeah, the stakes are about as high as they can get.
And who's supposed to get all this cash? That would be Mademoiselle Marguerite. She's the Count's adopted daughter, and on paper, it's all hers. But as you can probably guess, when there's this much money on the line, things are never, ever that easy.
Because Marguerite is definitely not the only one with an eye on that prize. To really get what's about to go down, we need to meet the cast of characters. And trust me, this is way more than just some courtroom drama. This is a messy, tangled web of personal grudges and seriously complex plots.
So, here are the major players on our chessboard. First up, you've got Pascal Ferailleur, our hero who's been framed and has to go underground. Then there's Baron Trigault, a guy with a major axe to grind. Our villains are the Marquis de Valorsay, a so-called nobleman who's totally broke, and his partner in crime, the Viscount de Coralth. And don't forget Leah d'Argelès and Monsieur Wilkie. These two might seem like minor characters at first, but their secret link to the family? Oh yeah, that's about to change everything.
What's really interesting here is that this story doesn't just have one hero. Instead, we have these two totally different guys who end up on the same side, all because they both want one thing: payback.
So first, let's talk about Pascal. His life has been absolutely torpedoed by what the book calls a frightful slander. His reputation is in tatters, and he's lost the woman he loves, Marguerite. So what does he do? He goes completely off the grid. He takes on a new identity, P. Mama Jean, so he can operate in the shadows and figure out who set him up.
And on the other side of this unlikely duo, you've got Baron Trigault. His reasons are, well, they're a lot more personal and a lot more bitter. Turns out, the rich old count who just died, he had an affair with the Baron's wife. For years, the Baron had to just sit there and take it. But now that the count's gone, he sees his chance. He's ready to air all that dirty laundry in public and get his revenge.
And this is such a cool contrast, right? You got Pascal, who's fighting to clear his name and protect the woman he loves. His weapons are his brain and his ability to stay hidden. Then you have the Baron, who's fueled by this deep personal humiliation, and his weapon is his massive fortune. And somehow, these two are going to team up.
Okay, so while our two heroes are busy planning their comebacks, the villains aren't just sitting around. Oh no, they have a brilliant and totally ruthless master plan to steal the entire Chalusse fortune.
The guys pulling the strings here are the Marquis de Valorsay and his buddy, the Viscount de Coralth. And you gotta understand, the Marquis isn't just greedy, he's desperate. He's drowning in debt, so for him, that 10 million francs isn't just a prize, it's survival.
So here's their crazy, multi-step plan. It all hinges on a huge family secret. Turns out the Count had a secret sister, Leah, who had an illegitimate son named Wilkie, and that makes him the actual blood heir. So step 1, find this Wilkie guy. Step 2, trick his mom into signing away her claim to the inheritance. Step 3, put Wilkie forward as the rightful heir, since he's basically a puppet they can control. But what about Marguerite? Oh, they have a plan for her too, a nasty one. They're going to frame her for theft, and maybe even poisoning, just to make sure she's completely out of the way.
And here's the final disgusting twist in their plan. The Marquis' goal is to let Marguerite get arrested and thrown in jail. Then he'll ride in like a white knight, offering to save her reputation by marrying her. It's diabolical, right? He gets total control over her and any potential claim she has to the money. It's just pure evil genius.
So the villain's trap is set. Marguerite's future is hanging by a thread. It's time for the final showdown. All our characters are about to collide in one explosive moment where all the secrets are finally going to come out.
And where does this all happen? At a huge fancy party. Of course, the perfect place for a very, very public humiliation. So the villains are feeling pretty good. They think they've won. And then a guest is announced. Some guy named M. Mama John. And you guessed it, it's Pascal. He's done hiding. And he's brought receipts.
He walks right into the middle of the room, and in front of all of Parisian high society, he drops the disguise. He points right at the Marquis and says his real name, Pascal Ferailleur. He lays it all out, how the Marquis didn't just try to steal a fortune, but how he deliberately ruined his life. I mean, this is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
So what does the Marquis do? Does he deny it? Beg for forgiveness? Nope. His response is absolutely unreal. He doesn't even try to lie. He just owns it. And then he turns on the crowd, the very people he was trying to fool, and he calls them out. He basically says, yeah, I did it. If I had succeeded, you'd all be kissing my feet. But since I failed, you hate me. You're all a bunch of hypocrites. It's just this incredible final act of defiance.
After that, things happen fast. Pascal has all the proof he needs, so the Marquis is toast. Socially, financially, he's done. So by December, just a couple months later, Pascal and Marguerite finally get their happy ending and get married. And get this, the witness at their wedding is none other than Baron Trigault. The guy who started this whole journey just wanting to burn everything down, he ends up finding a new family with them, a real sense of peace, leaving all that bitterness behind. It's a really touching end for his character.
And all of this leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. We followed two different men, both out for vengeance. One was fighting for his honor, the other for pure, bitter payback. And, they both got what they wanted in the end. But it makes you wonder, in a world this full of lies and betrayal, is there really a difference between true justice and just another powerful, all-consuming passion?